Hi there, Titans, and welcome back to another Titan Academy video. Today we'll be talking about table filtering for your Power Table in Titan Web. We're going to be covering how to set up column filters on your Power Table, how to set up global filters on your Power Table, and finally we'll talk about how you can set up external filters for your table. Let's get started. So the first thing we'll look at is how to set up our column tables. I'm going to head over to Interactivity, I'll scroll down, and I'm going to click on Allow Filtering. I'll then be provided with a drop-down which will let me select which column I want to filter by. For example, I can filter by full name. You can also add multiple columns here. So let's say I wanted to filter by birthday. Now, we've discussed this in a previous video, so I'm not going to spend too long here, but I can also change the filter type or control that I have for a specific filter. So if I head over to columns and I head over to my birthday column, I'm going to say filter by, and I'm going to change the UI control to be a date range instead of a simple text field. And now you can see that my filter has changed. I'm going to go ahead and save, and I'll preview, and I'll just show you how this filtering works. So if I were to filter between a date range, I can pull up a specific set of dates, or I could simply type in and filter based on, let's say, the full name here. I'll filter down to specific names like that, and that will bring me the records that contain this text right over here. Okay, excellent. The other filter type that we have here is global filter. So if I head over to interactivity one more time, and I turn on allow global filter, this will set up a filter for my entire table. And instead of it being for specific columns on my table, it will search based on anything from any column of my table. So for example, if I write in here under full name, let's say the color blue, it's not going to find any records. And that's because I'm filtering by first full name and not by my color. But if I write that in my global filter, it knows how to search every column. So it doesn't matter if I'm looking for colors, email, full name, or birth date, it will narrow it down in a global fashion. All right, that's as far as global filters go. Let's see about external filters and the difference there. So external filters are a really cool functionality where I can use an external, let's say input field or variable, doesn't matter which one. In this case, we'll do a variable and we'll call this external filter. And what I can do is filter based on this field. I can set this up in a number of ways. You might want to write a condition that every time this field changes, run the filter. In my case, I'm just going to add a button here called search. And I'll add another button here called clear filter. And there are other ways that you can do these things other than buttons. Again, you can do this based on conditions on the field itself. I'm going to set up an action. I'll do an element interactivity. I am doing table interactivity, and I am selecting the filter table option here. Then it's going to ask me, what do I want to filter? I want to filter my power table. And if I have multiple, it's a good idea to name your table to make sure you know which table you're filtering. And then I can filter based on a value. And my value is going to be my external filter field that we set up just now. And I'll say external filter. And now if I preview this, and this will work just like my global filter, so it can be based on any of these columns. It doesn't have to be a specific column. And I can say, for example, blue here. I'll click on search, and it's going to filter down to blue. I can say rich here like we did earlier and search, and it'll filter down to rich. Notice also that this is actually coming into my global filter field, but I do not need a global filter field for this to work. I can turn off my global filter if I would like. The last thing I need to do is have some way for this to clear. And you might say that if the external filter is empty, then you want to run a clear action. Again, I'm just going to trigger this from a button to make it a bit more simple. And we will say here table interactivity action, and I want to clear filter table. I want to clear this power table, clear filter. Let's refresh here. So I'll filter down again. We'll search, and now I'll go ahead and clear my filter, and that will clear out my global filter, and all of my records are back here again. So you have a number of different ways to filter. You can filter by column, globally on the table itself, or globally using an external filter. And that's how it's done.